What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another PrizePicks video. Sports by Dustin here. We're going to be comparing sportsbooks lines and odds directly back to PrizePicks to find the best possible value on the board right now. If you guys don't already subscribe to the channel already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button while you're at it because it really does help me out. I would appreciate it. We're almost to 5,000 subscribers, so please help brother out and let's get there. Now, Shohei Ohtani is where we're going to be starting today. Yesterday, we had his over RBIs, and he cashed for us. We ended up doing a 2x yesterday on the 5 flex we put out, 4 or 5. So let's follow it up again today with maybe a 10x. Would be nice to get. So we are starting off with Ohtani this time, fading him, taking the under of 13 fantasy score. I know he's in Colorado, but 13 seems to be a little bit aggressive, especially comparing to what DraftKings and BetMGM would have this line at if they had a fantasy score market. Now, how do we figure out what they would have it at if they had a fantasy score market? By taking into consideration the even lines for each of the player props that make up hitter fantasy score here on PrizePicks, we come up with this would-be projection for those sports books. So they are a little bit lower, as you can see if we click that hyperlink. Ohtani looks like off by about 1.3 fantasy score average odds comparing to those books. Now, we just had another good play pop up. Seth Lugo under 35.5 fantasy score. You can see he is off by about 2.9 as a pitcher. Let's go ahead and lock that in for this value as well. So Seth Lugo under 34.5 fantasy score. Wait a second. They bumped it. They bumped it already. Let's see where it ends up. We're gonna give that a second to adjust. So still a good play. Still a good play. So let's go ahead and get Lugo back in there. As you guys can see, this adjusts in real time. So when the sports books come out with new lines and odds, it will automatically pop over to DGF on one refresh. Or if you have notifications turned on, you'll get notified if a good play pops up and hits the board. But let's continue building out this slip. So we have Seth Lugo and Ohtani. We're going to go with Julio Rodriguez. So 3 fantasy scores to start off our slip. Over 6.5 hitter fantasy score. Going up against the Cleveland Guardians, who is Logan Allen, which we're not going to put Logan Allen in this slip with Julio Rodriguez. A little bit of negative correlation, right? If Logan Allen strikes out Julio Rodriguez 2 times, it's going to help us with his strikeouts, but then Julio Rodriguez is going to have not as good of a chance to go over his fantasy score. So we're just going to take the better rated play at the moment in Julio Rodriguez, and then we'll skip Logan Allen. So we dodge negative correlation. That's what it's about. Dodging negative correlation and finding positive correlation if you can. Breanna Stewart over 3.5 assists. We can see the sports books. 3 different sports books have this favored to go over 3.5 assists. Minus 142 average odds on the sports books. We get it at minus 119 in a 5 flex slip. 5 and 6 man flexes are the best slip types on PrizePicks to be profitable over the long term. Needing to be right just 54.3+% of the time in order to be profitable playing these slip types. Now, Breanna Stewart. Let's go ahead get Breanna Stewart added into the slip. Love me some stew. Let's go. All right. Now, I do want to, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's go with Fernando Tatis over 6.5 fantasy score. We will skip these one-to-one comparisons and go straight with Fernando Tatis over 6.5 fantasy score. He did burn me yesterday, but I'm going back to the well. I am always going to trust the sports books and the data in front of us. So let's go straight back to the well. Tatis over 6.5 hitter fantasy score. That'll be rounding out our 5 flex slip here on PrizePicks. So make sure you guys are getting it in. If you guys want access to Daily Grind Fantasy to find this value, linked in the description of this video, you can get access. Promise you, it is worth it, and you will enjoy finding value like this and beating the bumps. If you want to beat the bumps and get value in like me every single day, this is how I do it. But that's going to be it. Love you guys, and best of luck with tailing.